Good morning. In the previous lecture, we have seen the topic proposal. Okay. Now we are going to see acceptance. Section 2b is defining acceptance. When the person to whom a proposal is made signifies the assent, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, it becomes a promise. Okay. Now section 2c is telling the person making the proposal is called promisor, and the person to whom the promise is made, when he accepts it, that is called as promisee. The person accepting the promise is called as promisee, or in simple way it can be called as the person who gives the offer, that is proposal, is called as a offerer. To whom it is been given is called as a offeree, and when the offeree accepts, he is called as a promisee. Okay. Now acceptance is very important because you can just give offers to many people, but unless the other person accepts it, it cannot become a contract. Therefore acceptance is very essential. So the other person to whom the proposal is been made, he gives the assent. He gives the assent. It becomes acceptance. It is called as an acceptance and becomes a promise. Okay. Now this acceptance can be either express acceptance by express words, that is by written in written form, or oral form. Okay. Now acceptance can be either express. The other thing, it can be implied also, that is from circumstances we are going to consider that it is acceptance. Now when offer is been made and there are certain precedent conditions been put, and when these precedent conditions are been fulfilled, we can call it as acceptance. Okay. Therefore it can be implied acceptance. And when the offer is been given, the proposal has been given to a particular person, he alone has to accept it. If it is a general offer, general proposal, then anybody from the public can accept. Okay. So acceptance can be either expressed or it can be either implied. As proposal is having legal rules, similarly acceptance is also having legal rules. The first legal rule is what? It must be absolute and unqualified. If you say, if the offerer is giving, telling that for so many lakh rupees, or for 1 lakh I am selling this object, I am selling this thing, and the other person says it's 95, then that is a counter offer because it is a conditional acceptance. The legal rule, the basic legal rule is what? Offer must be clear. Similarly, acceptance must also be clear, and it should be absolute and unqualified. No condition should be put. Okay. Now this is the first legal rule of acceptance. The second is what? It must be communicated to the offerer, that is the proposer, that is a promisor. When the promisor is giving the proposal to the other person accepts it, he becomes a promisee, but that should be communicated to the offerer. It must be communicated to the offerer. Okay. This is the second rule. The third is what? It must be according to the mode prescribed, or a usual and reasonable mode. Offer must be reasonable. Similarly, acceptance must also be reasonable. It should be fulfilled. The conditions which have been put, if they are precedent conditions, they are to be fulfilled. And if the procedure has been mentioned that how you have to accept, then you have to accept it by that prescribed mode only. Or if such a mode is not prescribed, then the usual mode. Means if it is a shop and all, then you have to go there at working hours, isn't it? So if it is prescribed, then you have to go by the prescribed mode only. If I give you an offer and I'm telling you that you have to accept it before Monday, means you have to accept it before Monday only. That is a basic condition which I have been put. You have to give me a check, so you have to give me a check only. So if these are the certain modes prescribed, then you have to fulfill it by the prescribed mode only. These are the three legal rules. The fourth is what? It must be given within a reasonable time. See, when time is essence of contract, acceptance must be done, performance must be done within that time only, because time is essence, time is very important. But when time is not mentioned in the contract, that when you have to accept it, then you have to accept it within reasonable time. It must be given within a reasonable time. it cannot precede an offer. It means what? The first step in contract is offer, that is proposal. Thereafter you have to accept. Acceptance is secondary, is second. Okay, it cannot precede an offer. Your acceptance should show an intention on the part of the acceptor to fulfill the terms of the promise. Means there should be some legal intention behind that acceptance. A person should not say just yes without intention. Means that yes should have certain weightage, some feeling that the promisor will consider that yes, he is going to fulfill it. So it must show an intention on the part of the acceptor to fulfill terms of the promise. Next is, it must be given by the party or parties to whom the offer is made. If it is a specific offer, then that person only has to accept it. Okay. So the legal rules are, it must be absolute and unqualified. It must be communicated. Third is, it must be according to the mode prescribed. The fourth is, it must be given within a reasonable time. Fifth is, it cannot precede an offer. Means it should not be before offer. First offer must be there, thereafter acceptance. Sixth is, it must show an intention on the part of the acceptor to fulfill terms of the promise. Next is what? It must be given by the party to whom the offer is being made. Okay, these are 7. Okay, now 7 legal rules we have seen. Now the 8th legal rule is what? It must be given before the offer lapses or before the offer is withdrawn. Offer can be revoked, isn't it? Therefore, before revocation you have to give the acceptance. If it has been given for a particular time, means the offer is available, the proposal is available only for 10 days. Discount is there only for 10 days. Means you have to go there within 10 days only. If you go after 10 days, the offer lapses. Your acceptance, you will not get the discount, isn't it? So it must be given before the offer lapses or before the offer is withdrawn. Next is, it cannot be implied by silence. Acceptance must be there. Acceptance must be clear. It cannot be implied by silence, because silence is not speaking something. It means what? When silence speaks, or when it is a duty of a person to speak here, when he clearly knows that if I keep quiet, other person is going to infer certain things, then I have to speak. I have to clearly say no then. So if such a kind of thing is not there, certain inferences cannot be drawn, then you can't draw that the person has given the consent, the person has given the assent, acceptance by silence. The person keeps quiet, it means acceptance. No, when a person keeps quiet, it means rejection. But his keeping quiet is going to infer certain things, then he has to speak. Means before all the people, I am telling that I am your agent. If I am not your agent, you have to speak here. If you keep quiet, then what will happen? The other persons are going to infer that whatever I am telling, that is true. That is, I am your agent. So when there is a duty to speak, you have to speak. Otherwise, silence is not acceptance. Acceptance cannot be implied from silence. Acceptance given by the person other than the offeree will not amount to a contract. Therefore, specific offer is there. Acceptance must be given by that particular person only. If it is been given by some other person, then it is not an acceptance. Contract does not come into existence. Okay. Now, in the previous lecture, I have told you that the first step can be invitation to offer. Okay. The other will be offer, and the third will be acceptance. But every time there may not be invitation to offer. Okay. So sometimes we call like tender also. Means for invitation to offer, there is a tender. Means it is an attempted performance. So when person signifies to the other, tells the other that he is ready and willing to do this thing for him, it is called as a tender. Okay, now many government contracts and all, they take place by a tender notice. After that, filling of a tender, and the third is what? Allotment for the tender. So there is invitation to offer, second is offer, and the third is what? Acceptance, which we call it as allotment, or the government gives the work to that person who has quoted the lowest price. Therefore tender is different. Okay, tender means what? Attempted performance. A tender is in response to invitation to offer. It is an offer, and maybe either like for giving an offer for a definite goods to be given for a long time, for a continuous period. Each tender is an offer, and sometimes tender is called as a standing offer, means I'm giving you that offer to you. So if you want, you accept it. So it can be like invitation to offer, thereafter acceptance. Okay, but these two steps are very essential. The first is proposal and the second is acceptance. Okay, bye bye. See you in the next video.